Hey there everyone, Mazrock here, and in today's video I want to talk about 9.1 Blood Death Knight. Kind of where they are, where they're situated in the first weeks, what are their strengths, weaknesses, little things like that. This isn't a full guide. If you're looking for a Blood DK guide, there's plenty out there already. I can link one down in the description down below. This is just kind of a general thought. So if you're just starting with Blood DK, some of what I say might go over your head, but if you've played it before, you understand the class, but it's kind of an alt or something like that, this would be some good information for you. Right off the bat, Blood DK was hit with a 6% aura buff coming into 9.1, and boy does it show. My overall DPS in a Mythic Plus dungeon has now increased from 60 to 80% depending on the dungeon, and almost hitting 100 in a couple of runs. So 6% I thought was going to need to be higher than that for BDK to be competitive in the DPS market for tanks again. It's not. Their single target's still a little lackluster, but they're a tank. Take what you can get. And in all honesty, it's really, really nice. They shine right now in Mythic Plus and things like that. And it's just really all around nice. Their overall has increased significantly. Their glaring issues in M Plus is still there. So their mobility, always been an issue for BDK. You're slow. Kiting is not easy for you. Yes, you've got your Death and Decay, 90% slow, but if things can't be slowed, they're just going to follow you around. Best point here is the Tenderizers. I never remember the name of what they're actually called, but they put the Tenderize buff on the tanks and anything they hit, and once they hit Mutilate, things hurt a lot. Those guys don't like to be slowed. Kiting them is not fun as a BDK. It's really not. You need external help from things like that. So mobility is still an issue in higher keys, but there are obviously workarounds, ways around it, and things like that. DKs just need a little bit more help there. And that's really the big one. Their healing is superb. I found it's actually, I don't know what it is, but I found it's actually a little bit easier to kind of judge the death strike usage as you're going along, and very easy to hit 5, 6, 7k HPS in heavy packs. Like, you know, I think I hit 8.99 HPS. In big pulls, it's really easy to hit that high HPS. And it's all around smooth, and in all honesty, it's super fun to play. It's one of those classes that, again, has a very high ceiling. It's not just spam Death Strike and live. It's really not. You have to be much more methodical about your play with Blood than other tanks, because you're not mitigating the damage ahead of time. It's reactively. You have to know when the big hit is coming. To be like, okay, I'm going to drop from 100 to 20% here. Like, that's going to happen. I'm going to Death Strike myself back up. But if you have no runic power because you've just been spamming Death Strike, you're in trouble, right? And I found that flow has been a lot easier in 9.1 than it was in 9.0. Not that it was difficult, I just found it's better, it's cleaner, it feels better, and that might be because, again, dungeons right now is the focus of the season with the torments. It's not the pride show with dungeons, as I explained in my last video. It's actually the dungeons with an affix, with a seasonal affix, and that's really nice. And there are a lot of really good torments that actually work really, really well with BDK. Damage, 2% of damage taken, you're not mitigating any damage. So that 2% on Blood is actually higher than it is on other tanks, because it's a full 2% of what you're taking, because you're mitigating less of it than other tanks. See? Big brain. The 40% damage reduction upon starting a fight is exactly what Blood needs, because they are at their weakest with no runic power on a pull. That first 3-4 seconds of a pull, they are at their most vulnerable, and just a straight up 40% DR on that, chef's kiss. It's beautiful, very nice to see, and the affixes are really, those affixes are really working towards Blood's favor here, and they are super fun to play. So damage up, things are looking good for Blood. In all honesty, if you were thinking about trying it as a main alt, even a main this season, you will not be disappointed in how well they play. Like I said, the learning curve is just harder on them. If you've never played a Blood Death Knight, learning how to play them and how to understand them is a lot more difficult than other tanks. It really is, because your rotation matters a lot more. Screwing up punishes you a lot more than some other tanks, because you are much more reliant on yourself. Because trust me, when you get a healer that knows what they're doing, there's a very good chance the only thing they're doing is tracking your runic power, not your health bar, and if they and they're just going to leave you alone and worry about the rest of the party. Because until they need to worry about you, when you have no runic power, they're not going to touch you because you were entirely self-reliant for the most part. I mean, you're going to need some help here and there, and they are going to help you, but they're going to kind of leave you alone because you've got it. You've got this. You got 100 runic power. What are you doing? You're fine. You're at 20% health. You're fine. But that's super fun because being a tank that doesn't need a healer to really focus on them the entire time, like my main is Prot War right now, right? I am entirely reliant on my healer. I can mitigate a lot of damage, and I take damage very slowly, but I can't heal it back up. Right? Whatever damage I take, whatever HP I lost it, and I need it back. There are, of course, a few ways for you to kind of leech it off, or build it back up with Indomitable, or things like that, but it is not a big heal. It is a slow climb back for Warrior to bring that back. Where BDK, you can literally drop from 100 to 20 back to 100 in the span of a global or two. It really is like that. It's really, really fun. So, all in all, I think Blood DK is in a fantastic spot. If you look at any tier list, I don't like tier list, but if you look at any tier list, they might be somewhere in the middle. Man, tank tier list right now, the balance among tanks, I have to hand this to Blizz, I really, really do, is superb. All the tanks are basically on the same level. Some tanks are better at this and this, certain things than others, but it's all situational niches where, like, yeah, Blood's better in this scenario, or Bear's better in this scenario, or whatever. And that's just kind of the toolkit that they bring. But this is the conversation we're having now. It's no longer like, oh, you're playing Mythic Plus and you're not playing this one tank class. Like, what, are you crazy? Every one of them is possible. And as I was looking through the tank rankings, realm-wide and kind of first, they were colorful. They've been colorful all week, which is super, super nice to see. And I think Blood is going to be making a big impact this season. So, those are my thoughts on Blood. I stream on Twitch every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Come on by, check that out. Do you have any comments on this as well? Have you been enjoying Blood Death Knight this tier? Did you enjoy it last year and you think it got better? Do you think it got worse? What's your opinions on it? Leave that down in the comment section below. I hope you guys are enjoying 9.1 as much as I am. Please remember to be good to each other. Have yourselves a good day.